Hi everyone, this is Rafaro and welcome to my channel. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. How exciting to be in 2022. So when I started the year last year, 2021, I started off with some big things happening in my life. I made some big decisions, some scary ones and some really courageous ones. So one of the biggest decisions I made and one of the transitions I made was I left corporate America. So in today's video, I will be sharing a reflection. So I will be reflecting and reviewing leaving corporate America. So in 2021, beginning of last year, I left my first job out of college. So a little backstory. I graduated in 2019 in December with my bachelor's and honors degree in finance. And my school was all the way down south in Louisiana. And I traveled all the way to the northeast. And I went to New York City to start off my first job ever, first job out of school. And so I worked with a Big Four accounting firm. I was a business consultant. So I was in the financial advisor. So I was a financial advisor working in consulting, and our clients were large investment banks, and we did all of that stuff. So I worked on the risk team with these large investment banks. And I did this job for, in the year of 2020, I started working off remotely, started working during the pandemic. And when I started this job, when I got my offer, I remember opening it when I was still in college and thinking, oh my goodness, I've got it. This is the job I'll do for the next 5 years plus. Only did I know I would work at that job for less than a year and make a transition, which I'd always thought I would want to make, but I was always scared to do it. And I didn't realize how soon I would actually do it. So again, just for more context, I had interned at this job. So in my senior year, in that summer, I did an internship with this Big Four accounting firm. I actually interned in the same position I was. So I was a financial services consultant again. And I actually worked with the same investment bank. So the client I interned with happened to be the same client I started full-time with. However, it was a different like function within the investment bank, but it was the same company. Literally same building, same office, whatever. Only difference was when I was full-time, I was at home behind my home desk in my pajamas instead of being all suited up, walking to that office. So I'll just say the reasons why I didn't leave, just to give a disclaimer, and then I'll go over like my transition and then what I went into and my thoughts reflecting after a whole 365 days of not being in corporate. So when I started my job, I absolutely loved the people I worked with, my hiring manager, my recruiting team. They were so accommodating, so friendly, and made my process and my transition really smooth. But when I interned, I loved the people I worked with. The interns I worked with were amazing. The only thing was when I interned, the client that I interned on, it was just me and another intern. So it was just the two of us. So I didn't get that much time to spend with a lot of other interns, even though the company had a lot of fun and cool intern events. I did those, but in terms of spending a lot of time, it was just me, intern, and then the full-time working employees, which was great because I then got to push myself a lot out of my comfort zone and really spend a lot of time with these people who had so much knowledge and wisdom and knew a lot about the work culture of this company, which I then took on. When I started full-time, it was the same thing on my team. I was the only entry-level person on that team. Everyone else was well seasoned. They'd been working for a couple years on this team, and for the project I actually enrolled onto, it was where the Fed, during the pandemic, the Fed had released new requirements for these large investment banks, basically to make sure that we didn't have another financial crisis. So it was a lot of work, and sometimes we worked overtime, especially on Fridays. I had 2 weekends when I worked on the weekend, which was nice compared to some people who even worked even more. So I can say for the time I worked, I really did get pushed a lot and stretched a lot. However, what I can say is that being in college, I dreamt of this job. I dreamt of being an advisor. I dreamt of being in financial services. And when I got there, it was great, but I didn't realize it was great, but it wasn't what I fully expected it to be. So a lot of people told me that as an intern or even after working like your first year, it's really hard to say, or really hard to say that this is really for me, or to really get a full understanding of it, because you're still wetting your feet and there's so much trying to figure out, especially in consulting, because you do so many different things and the projects are never the same. However, I remember reflecting and looking at another intern I worked with, and she was so passionate about the work. She just loved it and everything. I loved the learning part. However, the type of work I was working on, I can't say, oh my goodness, I was blown away. Or, oh my goodness, I just felt so passionate about it. I saw that look in her. When I started full-time, I felt like I was in the same boat, right? When I talked to my other friends who were just onboarded, they were just oozing with passion. For me, I was enjoying learning new things. However, I wasn't on fire about the type of work I was doing and things like that. Even though the environment was great, the people were great, the pay was good and everything, I just didn't have that fire. So I remember thinking to myself, I don't know how long I'll stay in this position. We'll just see. But if I do have a chance, I think I'd make a transition into another space or whatever. And surely that's what happened. So I then transitioned beginning of the year to go to graduate school. So when I was working in 2020, even in undergrad, I knew I wanted to work full time, but I also kept my options open. So I knew, okay, maybe I could go full time, maybe I could go straight for my master's degree. So I've always wanted to have a second degree just for myself. I don't know, just to say I have a master's degree. And in undergrad, I actually studied for the GMAT and the GRE. I took the GMAT once, failed terribly because I thought it was just like the SATs. I barely studied. And I took the GRE twice. I didn't get the score I wanted. So when I first took these tests, I initially wanted to study economics at master's level. And then I realized economics is basically like studying maths. And I realized I don't like maths like that. So I decided, let me stick to finance. And I applied for a program for the master's in financial analytics. So when I was still in school, I had applied to Columbia, and I got a scholarship that would for students who went to HBCUs. However, I didn't then get accepted to the program because my test score was too low. So that was like, that didn't work out. And at that moment, I was thinking, man, I guess I'm not going to graduate school. So I guess the floor for me is to just do full time, which I did. However, I then received acceptance into Bentley, into the master's program, and I also received a scholarship for that. And I thought, okay, you know what, you can't turn down money and you can't turn down opportunity to get higher education, because opportunities of either work, entrepreneurship, whatever will always be there. So I decided, let's go for it, and that's what happened. So some of the reasons I like when I reflect now and leaving corporate and now being in a school program, so I'm a full-time student, back to school, back to learning. It was definitely a bit of a difficult transition for me, going back to studying, going back to learning to learn, like to really enjoying to learn. Like my first semester was really, really hard. It was really stressful. I took a class where I had to do R. I've never done any like technical classes like that, any other languages. And I remember just being like, what the heck? Like, what am I doing? If I got an A in that class, but it was really hard. This semester, I took a class where I was doing SQL. Again, at first it's like, what on earth is going on? But I think I went into this class with a bit of a different perspective, because I knew I needed to learn, because I could apply the material at any point. So during this program, before I started my master's degree, I told myself a few things. I promised myself that I was going to use this time for me. So one of the things I didn't like when I was employed was, yes, I was getting money, which was great. Yes, I thought I was living the life which I wanted, which was great, being this independent boss chick, at work. However, I felt as if I lost a bit of my identity, and I lost my creative juices and my fire, and I didn't really feel like I was living in purpose. So for instance, I would work, I literally wake up, eat, sleep, work, and sometimes I'd work out. I didn't have time to tap into some of my passion projects. I didn't have time to tap into things that I felt that gave me fulfillment, right? I didn't, and sometimes maybe if I had time or a few hours, I just didn't have the drive for it. I was just doing work. And when I started this program, I promised myself that I was going to make that shift and this is going to be for me. So for instance, the class that I'm taking, of course, a lot of them I'm like, oh my gosh, this is all different stuff. But I'm making sure that whatever I'm learning in this class on this subject, I'm going to be able to apply it either if I decide to go back to corporate or if I decide to go the entrepreneurial route. So making sure that everything I learn, I can take it onto whatever phase I go into next. The next thing as well is I promised myself that I'm going to tap into my creative juices. So the nice thing about being at school is that you have more time. Yes, the program is stressful, but I have more time in terms of my hours are different. So my classes in the evening, they start at 5:30. So 5:30 to 7:20. And then this semester I have a class from 7:20 to 9:30. So of course, meaning during the day, yes, I'm studying and learning all these things. However, I have a few hours to write. I have a few hours to work on a different project, to do this and this and this. And so for instance, last semester I finished writing a book, which I'll publish at a time. I wrote a book on habits because it's something I've really been studying and trying to really be intentional on, because I ultimately believe good habits, they just mean success, and good habits require discipline, just something I'm really, really trying to tap into. So anyway, that's something I promised myself. So I've really been working to be more creative, putting myself in spaces where I can tap into my creativity and tap into ideas that I otherwise would not have been able to because of work. Or a lot of the times when you work for companies that are in the financial services, you're really restricted on a lot of things. You're restricted on investing or on like starting certain businesses. There are a lot of restrictions, and I was just always scared to tap into those things. And now I don't have those fears. I can try it out. I can fail and I can try it out. It's okay. So that's one thing I absolutely love about going back to school. The next thing as well that I really love is that I'm not comfortable. I mentioned earlier that when I was at work, I just felt really comfortable because I was working and I was getting paid. I think I just got comfortable working out, work, getting my pay. Yay, cool. And then just continuing. Now it's different. I don't have that steady income coming in. I don't have a salary where I know every second week on Friday I'm looking at my bank account and I have some money in my bank account that's been dropped in. I don't have that. So I'm definitely more uncomfortable because I know I have to think and be creative of, okay, how can I make money? What are the ways can I use my gifts and monetize it? So that's another thing I really like. And I look back when I was an undergrad, I was always on my toes, always looking out for what scholarship can I apply for? What conference can I go to that's free, that I can make good connections with and come up with ideas of people? What book can I write that I can put out there? What thing can I do that, all these things. I was always thinking of new ways because I was uncomfortable as a student who didn't have a job, yet I managed to graduate with a good amount of money saved in my bank account, which I'll do another video on. So I think that's another reason I really love about leaving corporate and then being back at school. So I guess as I've come to the end of this video, as I finish my reflection, I am happy with the decision that was made. I am happy with going back to school. I am happy with leaving corporate. I'm happy with being uncomfortable with taking a huge pay cut because of the process I'm going through. I mean, right now I'm 23 years old. I turn 24 pretty soon. And I'm happy with the steps I've been able to make and just how I've been able to be uncomfortable, because I know that right now, you know how people say that you need to be in a certain state or like certain position for you to really grind and work hard, and I know this is exactly where I need to be to get to where I need to be. I've been able, of course, I mentioned earlier, to really have to think outside of the box of ways to make it work. And another thing as well with leaving corporate is I've been able to realize that my path doesn't have to be this way. It can be like this. And just because I went to school for finance doesn't mean I have to work in financial services. Doesn't mean I have to work in the investment industry, right? I've been thinking of other places that I can add value to. So I have so many gifts. I I can tap into those, and I have been tapping into them. That's another great thing I love, because I look back, if I continued working, I'd have gotten comfortable, gotten into certain debts, gotten comfortable again, and just stuck to that. I hear a lot of people who say, oh, work should just be what brings you money, and then you need to come up with another passion. And I think you should be able to make money from your passions. I think it's possible. You just have to make that bold decision to do it, because life is so short. So if you're thinking of making any kind of transition, it doesn't have to be from corporate or from work or whatever. It could be a transition from leaving school to try entrepreneurship full time, or taking a gap year, or anything. What I would urge you to do is, first of all, start writing out a plan. When I left, I had a plan. I knew I was going to graduate school. Write out a plan of what you're trying to do, what's your next step, and then research ways that other people have been able to do that. So I talked to other students who were in the program that I'm in now, to kind of have expectations of what it's going to be like, what to look out for, which professors to take, what's hard, those type of things. Research. Then another thing is, you want to build community. I started building community with people in graduate school. I still have my community of people in corporate, because that's still important, but I started building community in the space I wanted to be in. And the next thing is, I prayed about it. You have to meditate on it and pray about it, to really think about your transition. And then you have to just go for it. It's so daunting. Just go for it and believe in yourself and just go for it. There are moments, of course, when I really am like, why on earth would you leave a well-paying job in your dream city? Why? But I know this is what I need. This is the process that I'm on for a reason. Why did it have to happen like that? There are moments when it's just like you're not having a good day, but it's the process. Everyone has that. Even if I was still working, I would have moments and I'm like, dang, why am I doing this? However, it's just about attitude. It's just about your attitude. So yeah. Oh, if I backtrack again, the other day I was really having a bad day, and I was just like I was really questioning a lot of the decisions I made. I was looking at my bank account and I wasn't too happy with it, and I was thinking, man, if I was still in this place, making this money, doing this and this and this, and I was just feeling so down and so down. Went for a walk, and I was just like talking to God, like, why is this happening to me, And I came back, I didn't quite have answers, but I felt lighter, and I felt like a bit of a load had been taken off me. And then I just came into the kitchen and I made some fries, homemade fries, cut up some potatoes, made some fries, and I made a nice coastal salad, and I just ate. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes you just need to make yourself happy when you're feeling like trash, and then just pick up from there. It's okay. Indulge in something that makes you happy and just pick up from there. Because there's no way I was going to spend money to go buy one of my favorite meals because your girl's trying to save money. So I just came into the kitchen and I prepped something, and I felt so good after that. And I had some music. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and with whatever transition you're making, go for it. Congratulations. You're on the right path, you're on the right track. I think that the fact that that idea came to you, you're not stupid for wanting to act on that. That idea came to you for a reason, so you can act on it. And if you make mistakes, that's okay. If you fail, that's okay. You've learned something from it. So good luck, and let me know in the comment section what you're trying to work on. And with that, please don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, go ahead and like and share this with someone.